From Studio A at 1 Biloxi Square in Fort Worth, Texas, this is the Grandpa and Pappy Show. Yes, indeed, it is the Grandpa and Pappy Show, and we welcome you in for today, and thank you very much for joining us. We got a really good show today. We have invited Tim O'Hare, who is the Republican candidate for Tarrant County Judge, to join us again. We had some great comments the last time he was on, so we invited him again, Pappy. And
I feel like he will be the next Tarrant County Judge.
Well, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, you know, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. But
he's been a busy boy.
He has been a busy boy, and we'll be talking and visiting with him in just a moment.
Yep.
First of all, a lot of things going on. It was released today that the inflation rate in our country is the highest it's been in history. 7.5% inflation rate as of figures this morning.
That's ridiculous.
So we're going to ask Tim about that too and see what his feelings are about it. Also coming up this weekend, it's Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Who are you picking to win?
Well, I tell you what, that's really good. I was telling some friends yesterday that it's such a great story between the two quarterbacks. Here's Matthew Stafford playing all those years in Detroit with no kind of team around him.
Yeah.
And he moves to Los Angeles, and now he's in the Super Bowl. What a great, and he's a local boy. You know, he's from Dallas-Fort Worth.
Local yokel.
And then you got Joe Burrow, who is in his second year from LSU, and he was setting all kinds of records last year, his rookie year, before he went down with a knee injury and was out for the season. And he has come back with a vengeance this year.
I think Stafford ought to win. He's paid his dues.
Well, yeah, he has, but we'll just have to wait and see. That kicks off at 5:30 local time.
That's right.
And we hope your favorite team comes out on top. It's been a busy week for us. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But first of all, I don't want to spend any more time talking about us. I want to talk about the guy that we asked to join us on our show today, the Republican candidate for Tarrant County Judge, Mr. Tim O'Hare, is with us today.
Buddy.
So let's bring him in. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Morning, Tim.
Hello, guys. How are you this morning?
Man, you have been a busy man since we talked to you last.
We have been going hard, fast, and furious. What is today? Thursday. Sometimes I don't know what day it is. It's Thursday, which means we only have 2 weeks and 5 days left in this primary election, which is hard to believe based on how long ago I started doing this. But we are almost there, and with help from guys like you, we're gonna pull it through in the end.
Go Tim.
Well, we appreciate it very much, and
Appreciate you taking the time
there's
out.
there's going to be what, 4 candidates, Republican candidates, or 5 now?
There's actually 5 on the ballot, and there's one that of course is number 1 in everyone's heart. He's number 5 on the ballot, but yes, there are 4 others.
Well, let me ask you right quick, Tim. We talked about it a little bit before going on the air. We've watched some of your television ads, and one of your biggest competitors in this race is former Mayor Betsy Price. So let's talk about what you see as what perhaps her weaknesses are and your strengths will overcome.
Sure. Well, let's talk about my strengths first. What Republican primary voters are looking for right now is a fighter and an actual conservative. So my record, my history is a history of fighting and standing up for pro-American values, pro-family values, faith values. People know me from standing up to fight the ill effects of illegal immigration when I was on the city council in Farmers Branch. And we did some things there that no other Republican in the state of Texas was doing to stand up for border security and to fight against illegal immigration. After we did it, many other cities, counties, politicians followed suit. We also formed an organization in Southlake in 2020 called Southlake Families, and we stood up to fight against critical race theory and other Marxist ideologies in the South Lake Carroll School District, and we won that battle. The critical race theory plan, they called the Cultural Competence Action Plan, was thrown out, permanently rejected. We overtook the school board and put some real conservatives on there. So people want now is not the time for Republicans to reach across the aisle. It doesn't work. And if you attempt to, they're going to stab you in the back.
Yep.
There are two political parties in this country, one of whom loves America and wants to preserve her, one of whom wants to change every single aspect of America. So
Bingo.
there is no compromise between these two ideologies. There's capitalism versus socialism. There is a godless society or a godly society versus a godless society. There can't be a middle. There's going to be a winner and a loser. And what we need right now are Republicans that understand that. And the ones that don't are going to cost us our country. So we need to elect people that actually know how to fight and know how to win. I know how to do both and have done both. My opponent, on the other hand, called herself in March of 2021 in an interview a moderate, really more of a moderate. Those were her words, not mine. And now she's trying to tell people she's conservative. Well, I have news for her and any of her supporters. Conservatives don't raise money for Planned Parenthood. Conservatives don't sign proclamations for organizations that sole reason for existence for the organization is to help minors transition from one sex to another. Yeah. Conservatives don't stand up and support in a Washington newspaper the Biden infrastructure plan. And Betsy Price called on John Cornyn and Ted Cruz to vote for Biden's infrastructure plan, this $2 trillion+ debacle. Fortunately, they did not. And conservatives don't spend like drunken sailors and grow government at a record pace and add record debt like she did in Fort Worth. I'm endorsed by President Trump, Senator Ted Cruz, Sheriff Bill Wayburn, our district attorney Sharon Wilson, and every conservative grassroots organization in the state. So we will put up our conservative record against hers any day, and I think she's even given up on the idea of trying to claim she's more conservative than me.
Tim, let me ask you, how did it feel to get an endorsement from former President Donald Trump?
Well, it felt great. It was pretty cool. I was at home on a Saturday, and I got a call from a friend. And we've had a lot of people reach out to his camp and people that are close to the president. And I got a call from a friend on a Saturday in December, and this friend I knew he was down at Mar-a-Lago. I didn't know anything else other than he was going there. And President Trump has people down to Mar-a-Lago all the time for conferences and seminars and speeches and the like. So he called and said, "Hey, Tim, how are you?" I said, "Well, I'm good. I'm on my way to my kid's piano recital." And he said, "Would you like to have an endorsement from President Trump?" And I kind of laughed. And I said, "Well, of course. That would be a game changer. Who wouldn't?" And, I babbled on for a little while. Well, then somebody popped on the phone and said, "Hey, you need to know President Trump is sitting here right next to us listening to every word you're saying." So he picked up the phone at that point, and we started talking. We had a very nice conversation. He asked me a lot of questions about the race. He asked me questions about polling. He asked me, about facts about me, my opponent, things like that. Ultimately, he said, "Well, I'm giving you my endorsement. I just need you to go do one thing for me." And I said, "What's that, Mr. President?" He said, "Go win." So I said, "Well, you don't have to worry. I will outwork anyone in my race. Nobody will ever question that, and we're going to win." Well, I got to meet him, and I got to bring my wife and my oldest daughter, who is a President Trump fan, actually wrote him a letter on her own when she was 8 years old. And we got to meet him backstage at the rally in Conroe, whatever that was, 2 weeks ago. And so backstage with him, visiting with him, I thanked him for the endorsement. And he asked me, he said, "Well, did it give you a big bump?" And before I could answer, he said, "Well, of course it did." So he's pretty funny. He's both times I've communicated with him, has a great sense of humor. I was talking to somebody about this, guys, yesterday. So the public perception of Republican presidents is usually that they're somewhat defensive or scornful or bitter or a little angry. And when you get badgered by the media every day, and your people get badgered by the media every day, well, it's impossible as a human being not to feel defensive. So what the public sees of Republican presidents are these defensive people. And then, of course, we get Sleepy Joe in, and they ask him what his favorite ice cream flavor is, and what's he going to name his dog who runs around biting people. You know, I mean, it's they don't treat our folks the same. And when I met President Trump, and other people I know that have met President Trump or know him, they just say he's very warm, he's very genuine, he's very personable, and that's exactly the way he was with us. So we know he loves our country, and I'm thrilled and honored to have his endorsement in this race.
He's got every right in the God-given world to be a little on the pissed off side.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it, or how he's doing it.
Yeah, you mentioned the inflation earlier. Yeah, well, but at least we don't have mean tweets anymore. So for all the Republicans that thought they were doing the country a favor, hopefully this will be a great lesson to know and to remember next time you go in the ballot box and you have feelings like that, whether you love the person or not. Our policies are better than their policies, and their policies regularly send us into a tailspin, into turmoil, and everything they do on that side of the aisle is pit one group or person against another, whether it's rich versus poor, black versus white, employer versus employee, private school versus public school. It's just constant division and pitting people against each other. And Democrat officials have turned Americans against each other more than I think we've ever seen in the history, certainly of my, at least, lifetime where I've paid attention.
Well, they realize that division creates confusion, I guess. And I mean, even in something, pardon me?
They get to stay in power. It's all about power for them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Deception. That's the way I look at it.
Tim, let's switch gears a little bit. We the last time we had you on, we had some folks that were, I think, a little bit confused as far as what the county judge does, and we've had some subsequent talks about it here on the show, trying to tell them the difference. But I'd like to get into it. That's not a judicial seat. It is one that's going to be focusing on things like transportation, public health, property tax rates, improving county buildings, higher education, children's issues, and a big thing close to us is or Veterans Affairs.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
And taxes.
Yeah. So let's talk about what county judge is. So county judge is a misnomer, certainly in counties like ours. Tarrant County has about 2.2 million people, and the county judge performs no judicial functions of any kind. In smaller counties, the county judges do perform in Texas some probate functions, some limited judicial functions, but in Tarrant County, no judicial functions at all. Better way to look at it is it's the president of the county or the mayor of the county is a good way to look at it. It's not somebody that sits in a robe. It's not somebody that, has a gavel in front of a jury and, ordering the court kind of thing. Although I guess they do have a gavel running the meetings. It's more like the meetings that they run, that they preside over are the county government meetings. And so the way it works, there's 254 counties in the state of Texas. The county government is the district attorney's office, the sheriff's department, the civil courts, the criminal courts, the tax assessor's office, and the hospital district. That all falls under the purview of what is known as the commissioner's court. The commissioner's court, and again, we're calling it a court, but it's really more like a council or a board. But this commissioner's court is made up of the county judge who presides over it, which is elected countywide, and then 4 county commissioners. Each county in the state is divided up into 4 separate precincts. So this 5-member body essentially runs the county government and sets the tax rates for the county tax rate, the hospital district tax rate, manages the budgets of all those departments, sheriff, DA, tax assessor, all those I named. Right. So the other thing that's key about this position is the county judge is the sole authority for emergency management in a county. And most people didn't know what county judge was. Unbelievably powerful position, but most people didn't know what it was till the pandemic. And when the pandemic hit, everybody saw the power that a county judge actually has. When the county judge can shut down churches and businesses and schools and declare one business essential over another. So it's an unbelievably important position. It really is the top political position in the county. And as we've seen from our neighbor to the east, that's an individual that knows how to use the power of the county judge. Now, I don't agree with probably a single political position or view that he has, but almost everybody in North Texas can name who the county judge is in Dallas County. The county judge in Dallas County has replaced, in terms of the power position, if you will, the most influential political position, has replaced the mayor of Dallas. Most people can name the county judge in Dallas. Almost no one can name the mayor.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, Tim, should you be elected, and certainly from this vantage point, we surely hope that you do, which of these things that we talked about is near and dear to your heart as far as what you would like to really tackle and make sure that things change? I mean, could it be the higher property tax rates, higher education, veterans affairs? Which one is near and dear to your heart?
Well, I think all of them are important. I think one thing that I have come out and said from day one related to property taxes is our property taxes are simply too high in Tarrant County. And it's not just a political speech or phrase. Yeah. So Tarrant County is the largest Republican-led county government. There's 3 Republicans on the commissioner's court, 2 Democrats. So it's the largest by population Republican-led county in the state of Texas. Our overall county tax rate, depending on how you want to measure it, is either 5th or 6th of 254 counties in the entire state. So, I mean, it's literally all the Democrat counties, Dallas, Harris, Travis, Bear, and we're right neck and neck with them. So contrast that to Collin County. Collin County is the 2nd largest by population county in Republican County in the state of Texas. Our overall county tax rate in Tarrant County is about 45 cents per $100 of value. That in and of itself may not mean much, but Collin County, the 2nd largest Republican county in the state, the next closest one to us, is only 16 cents per $100 of value, which tells you, if you do some math, our county tax rate is almost 3 times the rate of the next closest Republican county by population. So for the people in Tarrant County who think their property taxes are too high, well, they are. And I've proposed a 20% tax rate cut my first year in office. What's really important to mention here, a 20% tax rate cut will not result in a 20% tax cut. So the little trick that elected officials like to play is they'll tell you that they cut your taxes if they cut your tax rate by half a cent or quarter of a cent or something like that. But the reality is, with the way appraisals are shooting through the roof because of how high values are rising, property values are rising here in Texas, if you cut a tax rate half a cent, it still ends up being sometimes 9.5% tax increase. So if you pay the county one year $4,500 and they cut the tax rate by half a cent, and then the next year you pay them $5,400, I don't know anybody who calls that a tax cut other than elected officials. So we will actually provide people, if I can get 2 more votes on the commissioner's court, we'll actually provide people property tax relief. One more thing about property taxes. So the state of Texas allows up to a 20% homestead exemption on county property taxes. And currently, Tarrant County offers 0 of that. So there is no homestead exemption offered by the Tarrant County government, despite the fact that it is the largest Republican county in the state. So another thing that I will put on the table when I get into office is force a vote to have the commissioners weigh in on whether or not they are going to approve a 20% homestead exemption. And of course, I'm 100% for that. And I'll work like the Dickens to try to make that happen. We are taxed. We are overtaxed. We are taxing people out of their homes. And for those that may be listening to you that start running that little Democrat narrative through their heads about, oh, it's just another rich white guy for rich white people. Well, who do the high property taxes hurt the most? It hurts the poor. And, you know, if you run a multifamily apartment complex and you get hit with a much higher tax bill where there is no cap, what happens? They just pass it on to the tenants. So, you know, I'm fortunate I can afford to pay taxes. I don't like writing this gargantuan check to own my own home, but I do it every year. But we've got people living among us who, when they get these bills, I mean, it is a stretch, and they're deciding, am I paying my taxes, or am I going to eat every meal this week? And we just have overtaxed them in this state, but particularly in Tarrant County, far too long and far too much. And I'm coming in to try to see if we can fix that and right the ship.
Well, you've done that in where was it, Farmers Branch? That you
Farmers Branch. I was city councilman and mayor there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, one of the things we did there was we literally reduced the size of government. And how many elected officials on our side of the aisle run on limited government?
Yeah.
And then what do? They instantly go in there and they expand the government. So Betsy Price, you mentioned, for example, likes to call herself a conservative. She added in her 10 years in Fort Worth, $3.2 billion in additional debt to Fort Worth. She added 500 city employees. She increased spending $600 million, and she added departments and programs, including her signature addition, which was the diversity and inclusion department, $1 million annually, 14-person department, to go in and tell all the Fort Worth employees how biased they are and how privileged they are, and to teach them all this diversity and inclusion nonsense. In Farmers Branch, I actually was part of a team that reduced the size of government. We went from 505 full-time employees down to 350 in a very short time frame, and we did it with compassion and decency, and we saved taxpayers literally tens of millions of dollars. Plus, we cut an unfunded pension liability in half and had it on pace to be down to zero within, I think it was 5 years, might have been 4 or 5 years.
Really? Wow.
We actually went in and reduced the size of government. And the key point here is we didn't miss a service. We didn't add lines to anything. We were just grossly overstaffed. And that's what happens in government. It gets bloated, and they're not run like businesses, and people get in there and get institutionalized. So what happens if there's somebody leaves a post in a government office, whether it's a city, a school board, a school district, county, doesn't matter. If somebody leaves, instantly, without even batting an eyelash, oh, hurry up, put out a posting, we got to hire somebody new.
Yeah.
Nobody ever looks at, well, can we consolidate positions? Can we assign some of their duties over here, over here, over here? Or do we even need this position anymore? Is this actually still of benefit? Nobody looks at it that way. It's just replace them, get a new one. And we got to go into government and look at it differently, and look at it with a business, innovative, entrepreneurial type mindset. We owe it to people to spend their tax dollars wisely. And I will tell you, I am not a big government guy. I'm not a grow government guy. I believe government should truly be limited. We should have good roads. We should have good police and fire. We should maintain law and order. But government needs to get out of the way and let people live their lives. We have become such a government-centric country, and we used to be a church-centric, family-centric, individual freedom-centric country. You can change it, but it starts at the local level, and I think we can spark a movement across the state on really limiting government and getting people out of the way. Government doesn't create jobs unless they take tax dollars out of your pocket and create a new position in the government. The private sector creates the jobs, and we need to let the private sector do that. They'll take care of itself.
Man, that's
well
great.
Said, yeah.
Very well said. Very well said. We are experiencing some technical difficulties on this end. Our camera seems to have frozen, but Tim is coming in beautifully. Yeah. If you're just joining us, our guest today is Tim O'Hare, who is the Republican candidate for Tarrant County Judge. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot here, Tim, and I'm going to give you the camera that actually works, brings it in here, and let you look right into it and tell voters why they should vote for you. And I'm asking this because some of the straw polls that have been taken around the county show you doing very, very well. And this is your opportunity for those that may not really know who they're going to vote for to mark your name on that ballot.
And let me throw in a question too. I didn't know what the heck a straw poll was till the first time you'd mentioned it. So you might explain, now that I know, you might want to explain for those of us that don't know the true definition of a straw poll.
Sure. So a straw poll is just where they bring people in, invite people in to cast a vote for who they want to see win a certain position. It has no legal relevance, of course, but
Kind of like a
it's a
survey,
chance for voters
if
to
you will.
weigh in and tell people who they're for and who they'd like to see in office. So we had a candidate fair and straw poll in Hearst, where every candidate on the ballot in Tarrant County was invited. Many of them, in fact, an overwhelming majority of them came, and you set up tables, and voters were invited to come in free of charge, meet candidates, ask them questions, talk to them, and then weigh in on who they wanted to see. So that straw poll was, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago at least, in at the Hearst Conference Center, and we won that straw poll with 65% of the vote, and with there were 2,000 or 3,000 people that came through there. I don't know the total amount voted. It might have been 4,000 that came through there, but we won with 65% of the vote. And with 5 people on the ballot, winning 65% with 5 people, that's not an easy task. So there was another straw poll on, let's see, what is today? Thursday. On Tuesday night, it was a combined event in Arlington put on by Republican clubs and women's Republican clubs in Arlington and Mansfield. And they invited people in. And if I were guessing, just a total guess, there were probably 500-600 people, maybe 700 people that came through there. Same kind of setup, tables, but they also had candidates stand up and give speeches. So we won that straw poll with 68% of the vote. So the conservatives that are in the know, Republicans that are paying attention, we're running away with the race. What happens in these races, there's going to be 100,000 people or more show up to vote in the primary, and many of them show up to vote for governor only, or for their friend who's running for judge, or for the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, and then there's going to be 30, 40 other races on the ballot. So a lot of times they'll just look down there and say, "Oh, I've seen that sign," or "Oh, I've heard of that name." I would just say there are conservative organizations throughout the county, throughout the state, that have recommendations, and some of them don't have the same people on the other cards. I'm on literally every single one of them that I've seen. So there's something called the Green Card, the True Texas Project card, the Tarrant Republican Club PAC card, the Link Letter. We're going to be in every one of these. And there's a lot of good information on these cards, but people need to look and see who is on the ballot, who's running for what, and what people stand for. As far as
Tim, let me interrupt you right quickly. We're running very short of time. Can you tell us why the people need to vote for you right quickly?
You bet. So why they should vote for me. Tarrant County is on the cusp of turning blue. Tarrant County is a special place, and we cannot let that happen. We're not going to stop what is happening and the direction it's going if we just keep going along to get along and doing the same old, same old. We need strong conservative fighters who will stand up for our values, pro-American values, pro-family values, pro-faith values, and do it boldly and unapologetically. And if we have somebody that'll do that, people will follow in elected offices all over the county, and it will absolutely turn the direction around, keep us red, and send us in a more conservative direction. And I'm that candidate. People don't ever have to worry if I will waver, if I will fold. I will stand strong for all those things. I'm not a career politician. I've never been paid any money to be in office. I'll stand up for what you believe in, and together we will keep Tarrant County not just red, but we'll make it more conservative.
There you go.
Tim, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. We're big fans of yours,
Absolutely.
and we certainly hope you take that position and get elected this year. I know there's several other questions we'd like to ask, but time restraints are killing us right now. But we'd like to have you on maybe again if you'd like. And
we would be happy to. I'm fans of yours as well, and I appreciate the support, guys.
All right, Tim, have a great day. We appreciate you.
Take care and love
Thank
your
you.
family.
You guys take care. Thanks for having me on.
All right, bye-bye. It has been a lot of fun today, as you can see. Our camera here in the studio, has absolutely frozen on us, but that's all right. You can still hear us. Our many thanks to Tim O'Hare, the
What a great
Republican
guy.
candidate
What a
for
great-
Tarrant County Judge.
Hard-working conservative.
Oh man, he is. He is such a pleasant guy to talk to.
The man for the job,
Yes, he is.
in my opinion.
But anyway, we thank him very much, and we'll try to get him back on. And hopefully our camera will start working the next time. But we want you to give us an idea of a show that you may have. All you have to do is to send it to Grandpa and Pappy at gmail.com
Or you can hit us up on our website directly at www.grandpaandthelletternpappy.com. That's grandpaandpappy.com, where you see a big old red button. Push it. We're numbers driven. That's a subscription button.
It is certainly.
What will it cost them to push that button, amigo?
Absolutely
There
nothing.
you go, by God.
Or you can join us on the Grandpa and Pappy Facebook group page, where you'll see all of the questions that we ask you to answer based on what you have told us and based on what is going on around our great country.
And there's several ways they can make comments and or give us show topics, which we absolutely love. We love show topics.
Yes, we do.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook,
And YouTube.
and YouTube.
It has been a lot of fun today. We tell you to reach out and hug your kids every day and let them know you love them.
Take care of one another and let them babies know that they're well loved right here at the Grandpa and Pappy
By
Show, too.
George.
By God.
Absolutely.
That's
Till we
right.
talk to you again, everybody, have a great, great day. Take care of one another.
Thanks for
God
being
bless
on
you
board.
and God bless America.
Thanks for being on board, and we love you each and every one.
Bye-bye.
Later.